Hey, Indianapolis Motor Speedway fans, Doug Bowles here with you for another episode of Behind the Bricks. You know, my favorite day of the year, just like many of you, is the Indianapolis 500. But second for me, the Driven to Save BC39 that takes place right here at the dirt track at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We thought it might be fun for you to come see what's it take to put on a USAC race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for some of the greatest short track racers in the world. Come on, let's go check it out. One of the things that's made this race so special in its first four runnings of the Driven to Save BC39 is how good the racing is on the track. That doesn't happen. Actually, it takes somebody like Reese O'Connor from Kokomo Speedway, who's come in here every single race we've had to help us prepare it. Reese, you're in here now. It's a little bit of a challenge for a track we only run once a year to make sure it's as racy as it is.
Yeah, well, in that, we've been through a little bit of a drought, I feel, Doug, so that's why we've got the track looking the way it does. We've got it opened up, and we put 10,000 gallons on it last night, another 10,000 this morning, and I'm sure we're going to have a great surface for the people, though, and it's going to be a good multiple grooves and be a good race.
So part of the challenge, I don't think people understand it, is really managing that moisture. So you're going to put a bunch of water on this, not just now, but even leading up through race weekend. How hard is that for you to really stay on top of?
Well, it's a little bit of a challenge, especially on a multiple night show, because when the cars race on it, it gets harder and harder, and then therefore water, it's like putting water on concrete, it runs off. So we've got to open it up each night and scratch it and make sure the water goes down and not down to the infield. So it's a little challenging, but we're used to it, you know.
So that's what you've done here. You've come through and really ripped it open last night. You're getting that water. How much water will go on this racetrack between now and the checkered flag of the final race?
We'll probably put another 100,000 gallons on here before Saturday night, before the event's over.
It's pretty crazy. A quarter-mile dirt track with 100,000 gallons of water. Let's go see some of the equipment that Reese and his team and the folks at Westside Tractor bring in to help us make this work. What do we have right here?
This is a power box rake, or a generic name would be Harley rake. We use this to, after the cars have been on the racetrack and the surface starts to get hard, it's got little carbide nubs on it, and we'll use it to break the surface up and fluff it up a little bit so the water will, like we talked about earlier, the water will hold versus running off as much.
So now that's something you do kind of pretty quickly. If you want to get more water to the ground, is this what we're using right over here?
Yeah, this you can pound water in. This is what everyone knows is known as the sheep foot. This will make the surface hard, but it'll also let you drive water into the ground. It'll sometimes leave a hole in the surface and a pocket for water to go, and then you can also water the track and pound that water down with it.
So in between heats or in between features, or how do you do that?
Normally this would be a before the event, and then maybe after the event when you're grading the dirt back down, you want to run the sheep foot ahead of the road grader and put the cushion back down into the holes that the sheep foot makes.
100%.
So.
And then right here, what are we using here?
This is basically just your John Deere Westside Tractor skid steer with a bucket on it. That just a nice piece to have here to
moving stuff around.
Yes.
So obviously you're going to move some dirt. Like this place sat for a little while, so you took a little bit of the dusty or the silty dirt off, pick that up, and throw it in a truck to get it out of here.
Exactly. Yes. That, or sometimes, I mean, with the beautiful wall here, instead of running the road grader blade into the wall, we'll take the skid steer, because you can be a little more precise with the bucket and clean some of that dirt away from the wall.
So there you go. It's not just Reese O'Connor. It's the equipment that he uses actually from Westside Tractor to help make this a really, really cool event. But you haven't seen my favorite piece of equipment. Let's go check that out. My favorite piece of equipment from Westside Tractor is actually this grader. And you guys, if you follow me at all or follow the Speedway at all, you know that occasionally in the evenings, it's a great place for me to get out and just kind of hang out and drive around. Now, they don't want me doing the grading because that takes some real science. I can do a little bit of grading here where it doesn't matter if I screw it up. Reese can fix that for me, but let's go out and take a lap, a slow lap, around this track here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Certainly no Reese O'Connor. We told you it takes a little bit of time to actually get the dirt track ready. So you'll notice Reese and I are actually in different clothes, because it's not just a one-day event. It's been a couple of weeks for him, and we're out here on the day we're about to get ready to go for the Driven to Save BC39. We got the water truck behind us. It's rained a lot, so fortunately we may not need this as much, but this is still an important piece of making sure the track is ready to go.
It is. We did save on a little bit of fuel last night, which is okay, but definitely one of the most important pieces besides the road grader and a few other things that we talked about.
So getting moisture in the track, or a certain amount of moisture, is important. We don't want it to flood. That's why the rain's a problem. But you will use this throughout the weekend.
We will, yeah, we will use it. We'll open the track up a little bit now here this afternoon and use the truck to get a little bit more water in it. We did have it sealed over before the rain hit last night, and so right now we're in really good shape.
So I think it'd be kind of fun to see how this fills, and then maybe if you could give me a lesson, I'll drive it around the track a little bit.
Well, you can operate the road grader, so you don't need much of a lesson.
Well, let's go see how this water truck works, how it fills up, why it's so important, and maybe we'll take a lap or two just to check it out. You've seen how the racetrack comes together as we get ready for those drivers who will be competing in the Driven to Save BC39. But what's the most important thing? You guys, the fans, having you here. This temporary grandstand just put up a couple weeks before the race. This is where over 4,000 of you will watch the race this weekend. It literally takes a village to put on the Driven to Save BC39. So we've seen Reese O'Connor and all he does to help out. But Scott Petrie and the folks at Petrie Excavation helped us build the racetrack and also are here helping prep it as well. Dreyer Reinbold, our friend Dennis Reinbold, he gives us an amazing trailer that serves as our temporary media center for the media that are out here covering this event. And obviously, we've got the Westside Tractor folks. But you can't see the race at night without our friends at Musco. So Musco comes in, they light this thing up and makes it shine all over the city. If you're flying in on the night we have the BC39, those Musco lights make it special. And of course, our friends at USAC. They bring in that mobile race control trailer. That's here to take care of that. And Flow Racing comes here. So those of you that can't come to Indy can see it on TV. It literally takes a village to put on the Driven to Save BC39. When you win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you have to cross a yard of bricks and you get a chance to kiss them. There will be a 5th winner of the Driven to Save BC39 this year, and they will get to kiss those bricks. If you don't have your tickets, get them at IMS.com. Come join us. We put an awful lot of work in for my 2nd favorite day of the year. If you see this after this race, don't forget there'll be a 6th in 2024. Thanks for joining us on Behind the Bricks for another episode of cool things that happen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.